I rage quit Ori in the Blind Forest. We're not playing that game anymore. I fucking give up. Every single time I fucking play that game, I rage. We're playing Dating Sim instead. Swooning Over Stans. What do you mean this folder is empty? Oh, because it's in my home. Everybody give me a minute. I've got to close YouTube Studio to get it open. Wait, no, you're supposed to be on this screen. Wait a minute. Can I do this? Can I do this? Connect. You full screen. You and shift bar. Great, cool. I can do that. Shut the fuck up if you double tap to show the screen menu. Fuck off with that shit. Where did I put it? This one. Grunkle Dating Sim. Gotcha. Reload? Yep, great. Cool. Let me get down here. Try and adjust it to fit the screen. Does this game actually have sound? It does! It does! Good old road trips. Wait, I'm a bit in the way. That's fine. Good old road trips, full of promise and ripe with potential for adventure, soul-searching, and incredible scenery. I'll lower the volume just a little bit. Or at least that's what you thought before the novelty wore thin. As for now, your legs are cramped up, you're exhausted, and your travel playlist 2 times over, and your stomach is begging for something to eat. On top of all that, you're pretty sure you're lost. Driving through Oregon paints a picture of trees and more trees, especially on the endless winding roads that you're taking up north. All that breaks the pattern is a sign that zips past the words that you're just able to make out. Gravity Falls. I just realized the irony of that name. The road continues on, giant redwoods looming on both sides. You find yourself anticipating something, because as you drive on, you can feel it. Something strange is bound to happen here. Something weird. And that's when it happens. Your car picks up speed. Change come out of nowhere and you quickly put your foot on the brakes, but horrifyingly the car seems to be driving all on its own willpower. Trying to stay calm despite the panic swelling in your chest, you pull the emergency brake, only to find that the car resists and keeps moving forward, like something is pulling it. The car begins to rattle, the wheels screech against the country road, and you're screaming until... Habuski! Ouchie. That hurt my throat. Ooh! There's smoke. Why is there smoke? You cough, fumbling for the door, and manage to undo the lock just before the door is wrenched outward from your grasp. Something lands on your shoulder. A hand. Are you alright? My husband! This is my grunkle. This is my... I claim forward. I know he's kind of married to Bill, but I claim forward. I'm sorry, Grunkle Stan. I'm a forward girly. Man stands at your open car door. His hand on your shoulder leaves to tilt your head up, and he pulls a flashlight from his coat, shining it in your eyes. 2 blinks and he lets your chin go. His eyes dart over to the rest of you, looking for injuries. Still stunned, all you do is watch. What's your name? My name is Regular Person. No, my name's... Should I go Goblin or Fan? We'll go Goblin. It's Goblin. My name's pronouns are they, them. Goblin, I'm Stanford Pines. Forward for short. Should shake your hand, but you also look shaken up enough as it is. You seem fine as far as I can tell, but you shouldn't head back out there anytime soon. Where on earth are you driving in such a hurry? You open your mouth to explain when a voice calls from inside the house. Poindexter, this better not be one of your experiments again. I've had this place rebuilt too many times to... Oh, it's got little... Behind me, you can see it's got little symbols to show who's talking. I could probably try and do a voice, but I don't know how to do Grunkle Stan's voice. Don't know if the voice walks out of the house and stops slack-jawed at the side of your car on the side... At the car on the side of, you're guessing, his house. You must have hit your head earlier because you could swear you're seeing double. Sweet Moss's Forge, you've done it this time. What? This has nothing to do with me. I was testing my magnet gun and... must have pulled this victim of circumstance into the house. I suppose it's entirely my fault. I'm incredibly sorry. It's fine, give me a smooch. Reassure him, reassure myself. I'm gonna cry. It's tear streaks down your cheek, and before you know it, you're crying. With me looking intensely uncomfortable before it reaches out to give you a hesitant pat on the shoulder. You know what? I probably would actually cry in this situation, so that's accurate. Hey, look, it's fine, alright? Sure, there's a dent in the hood from the shack's signage, but a crack in the window shield. And a crack in the windshield that looks like an enormous triangle, but I'm sure she's still running. She'll still run. Try and start the car. It sputters, but immediately nothing happens. Ultimately, nothing happens. You feel like crying again. Oh. Well, let's call the tow truck for this unfortunate soul here, and forget, I'll take care of it. Right, it is cheaper to tow it yourself. Sixer, get that magnet gun out again. No, Stanley, I'm gonna fix this. What? Ha! You fix this mess? I figured out a few alien vehicles in my time. Nah, you kidding me? It'd take some sort of miracle worker to bring this baby back to life, and this miracle worker is on a vacation. Stanley, a moment. You just hear like beat him up sounds like oh no, not there! Oh, my balls! Ford instantly turned away and you're left to your thoughts. Who could anticipate a car accident like this in the middle of a road trip? I think I'm gonna eyelash on my eye. Ugh. You can take care of the car, but how are you gonna get home? They run buses out here, right? So you can take a bus out of here and then... That was fast. Ford clears his throat, shifting a little awkwardly in place. Seems like they finished their talk. So, there's a few options. My brother Stanley here would drive you out of town to find a place to stay the night, or you could stay the night here. You have some maps and information you can look at in the gift shop, and in the morning we can help you with your car. What do you say? Just as you're about to answer, another high-pitched voice comes from inside the house. Mabel! Grunkle Stan, picture this! A whole week of... Oh my gosh! I love Mabel, she's my spirit animal! The girl runs out of the house, comes to a halt at the side of your car. Oh great. Grunkle Ford? Why is it everybody automatically thinks I'm at fault? Well, this time it is my fault, but I invited Goblin here to stay with us for the night. If they'd like. I'm sure I can fix this. Just have to figure out how. Stanley sighs. I can take a look. Being on vacation is pretty boring, and the old Stanmobile hasn't needed a tune-up yet, so it wouldn't be too bad to work on something in the meantime. Thank you, Stanley. I'm sure I can put something together from the gadgets I have laying around if you need any specialized tools to help you with the job. And let me introduce myself. Wait, is Mabel talking? Wait, how do I get out of the way? Can I just be tiny? Can I be tiny? I'ma be tiny. I'm small. Wait, I'll be over. No, never mind. I'll be over here so you guys can see over on the side of the... You guys can see on the over to here. That thing. Wait, hold on. I haven't seen anything happen. Wait, I didn't get to finish reading Mabel's mind. God damn it. Wait, hold on. I haven't even said anything yet. I appreciate your offer to let me stay. And to repair your car. Yeah, it'll be good as new in my hands. I mean, look at my Stanmobile. She's been through the ringer who knows how many times, and she's still a beaut. He points out a red car parked a distance away. You can't really see how beautiful it is at this distance, but he sounds really confident. Well, this turn of events is... suspicious. Free repairs, free lodging? What is this, the setup to a murder? You can see the headline now. Unsuspected tourist dies mysterious death in backwater town. But at least the jury's still out on these people. The cost of our auto repair anywhere else would show you no mercy. I can understand. Am I still tracking? Yeah. Well, I accept. Thanks for the help. I changed my mind. I want to go back to being big. I'll just be right in the corner. Oh, there's fucking eyelash in my eye or something. Oh! Oh, shit. What? Well, accept. Thanks for the help. And my apologies again. What an embarrassment. I must have made such an elementary mistake. It's fine. I'll give you a kiss and make you feel better. As a pine leads you inside the house, Mabel leaves her number on your phone for you to call whenever. And you find out that Ford's twin goes by Stan. This part of the house, but just outside of that door... Well, this part's the house, but just outside the door is the mystery shack. Hey, you ever been to the mystery shack before? I wanted to, actually. Saw a bumper sticker while I was out on the road and got curious. You're interrupted by a loud and triumphant, "Ha! Those bumper stickers were a good investment. And Sixer says they're too plain and graphically simplistic. They don't even have an address on them, Stanley. They don't even have an address on them, Stanley. How is anybody supposed to find the place to attract customers? Sixer, did you hear that?" I'm gonna have to do a voice so that way you can tell who I'm talking about. Well, they are graphically simplistic. I don't know how they found the place, let alone thought what is the mystery shack was compelling. Kinda liked it. See, they kinda liked it. I like you, Goblin. How about I give you a tour sometime? Tomorrow, regular price. Tomorrow? Then I'll have to squeeze all my get-to-know-you questions in today. Goblin, tell me. Capybara, yes or no? Yes. That moment, a boy passes in the hallway at the far doorway and Ford calls out to him. Dipper, my boy. I'm surprised I didn't see you run out of the scene of the crime. Crime? What crime? I have an alibi. Oh, you have someone with you. Crime? What? I'm not suspicious at all. What the fuck did you do? Did you guys see the car on the side of the shack? For a second, I thought the Minotaurs were back with a grudge. Oh, yes, about that. Dipper meet Goblin. I've stranded their car here by accident. They're staying here for the time being. Sorry, stranded their car here? You crashed it? Mabel! Yeah, the S in shack fell and it did everything. And the windows are cracked. One window, the windshield. And Goblin was lucky to make it out alive! Well, fine. No injuries, thankfully. The magnet gun's rather safe despite never having been tested in a formal setting. Yeesh, did you not, take safety precautions or something? Actually, the irony of the situation is that I was trying to install a safety precaution. Hey, if you two are gonna do your nerd talk, I'm gonna get Goblin set up. Mabel, sweetie, why don't you show Goblin around? Let them stay in the storage room. That's still empty, right? I'll make it empty. That sounds a bit threatening. The rest of the day consists of Mabel showing you the storage room you'll be staying in, and the kitchen, and the living room, and the hallway, and the bathroom, and pretty much comprehensive tour of the mundanities of a regular house. Eventually, you find out that the family is even more extended than you knew. The decorative dollies make a lot more sense knowing a grandmother normally lives here, and her grandson, Seuss. I didn't know Seuss and his mom lived in the mystery shack. Or was it Zeus? Whatever the name, you look forward to meeting him when he comes for work in the morning. When you got to the attic, Mabel opens the door to reveal Dipper. Nose stuck in his books, but you catch him occasionally glancing up at you as he pretends to read. The next member of the family snorts up at you from Mabel's bed, a rotund pink pig, who Mabel declares is her best friend and partner in crime models. The two are a perfect match, right down to the chubby cheeks and beepable noses. Aww. And in the evening, though you'd still been in disbelief over the state of your car, the family dinner and after-dinner TV marathon you've been invited to made it seem like a normal guest day rather than a forced circumstance. Aww. Returning to the storage room Mabel has shown you earlier, you find an air mattress waiting for you, and more pillows and sheets than a summer night warrants. Aww. It's nice. You wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming through the small, high window in the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature, or any hotel or motel room for that matter. Then yesterday comes crashing back to you. You glance at the time to see that you've slept into the afternoon, experiencing the accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Despite having been assured yesterday evening that you were free to do anything freed to anything in the fridge, you still feel like you're imposing on the Pines family and try preparing as polite a guest breakfast as you can. I fucking do that. You wash your dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit the kitchen, you bump into Ford. Yes, from yesterday, of course. For a good solid moment, Ford regards you with an awkward silence. Ford clears his throat. I believe Stanley's looking at your car outside if you want to be there for it. You give a nod and make to leave for real this time when Ford speaks up again. And Goblin, I'm sorry again for the accident. If I'd been smarter about it, well, let's just say it's entirely my fault and shouldn't worry about this at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley does have a knack for cars. Pretty sure she'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks. You can't keep the dismay off your face, and you can't really bring yourself to try to either. What am I gonna do with weeks? Ford, who'd gone kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can answer. Well, there's a town to tour, of course. Well, there's the town to tour. Oh, and the Mystery Shack. I don't like that. If you ask me, all that pales in comparison to... Hold on, do you hear that? God, I'm fucking dyslexic. Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate. Sounds like... The sound comes again, and this time you hear it as well. The squeal of a pig, followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddles tumbles past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into view soon after. A few sheets of paper clutched in hand. I'm fucking dyslexic. Ford steps quickly out of the kitchen and you follow to the doorway, getting there just in time to see an apparent tug-of-war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips, and nearly toppling backwards from her efforts, Mabel recovers, snatching the scrap of ripped paper from Waddle's jaws and lifting both pieces up victoriously. Ha-ha! Mabel wins again! Now I just gotta find Grunkle Ford! Ford, who'd run forward and held out a hand to steady the energetic child when she'd been in danger of toppling over, now finds a number of crumpled sheets of paper shoved into his hands. Mabel tugs urgently at his coat. Grunkle Ford, you have got to help me! Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious, though concerned look. Slow down, Mabel. What's the matter? Dipper found a stack of pages from your old journals, and I walked in and Waddles ran up and started eating one of them, and he must have been chewing on it to warn me, Grunkle Ford, because look! Mabel takes the ripped halves of the paper from Ford's hand and draws them together, holding it up for Ford to see. I see. And he took it as a warning? Yes, it says here that it eats small dogs, and Waddles is a small pig, but he sort of looks like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have feared for his life. Oh, Waddles seems to second this notion with a snort. Or not, as it seems the pig is lounging adorably a short distance away in the hallway. Speaking of snorting... My chai! Dang, it's cold now. I forgot about it. You can't imagine what this dangerous predator should be. Some kind of wolf? Something bigger? You're certainly not so keen on saying anymore. Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Wallace was so scared that time, I can't let him leave my side. Pterodactyl? I suppose pigs are allowed in museums around here. How about I finish that repellent I never got around to completing? That'll keep Waddles safe from harm. I can reverse the text? That's so cool! Mabel flops down on the floor in relief. Oh, that's actually great. Grunkle Ford, you're an actual lifesaver. Waddles, you have nothing to fear. Ford chuckles, lifting himself out of the kneel and standing back up. Alright, I'll go get my recipe. Ford turns to leave, and you suddenly remember that with nothing better to do for the weeks you're going to be here, it wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know what there is to do around town anyway, and you'll need that to not die of boredom in the first week. Or more pressingly, you should go and check on your car and see what Stan's made of it so far. You're not exactly eager to face taking your car on the side of the house again, though. Get to know Ford! Get to know Ford! Ford, wait! Need a hand with that recipe? I can handle it myself. I just realized he hides his hands! Aw, baby Ford. Are you sure you can use a hand? Ford looks away then and he follows a averted line of sight to Mabel, who just mouthed something that you couldn't catch. When she catches you looking her way, Mabel gives you a 100-watt smile, the picture of innocent. Ford rubs the back of his neck. Yes, I suppose I can. Yes, I suppose I can accept some help. And with that, assured that Ford is on task, you spot Mabel rolling away with Waddles right into the living room. Before we get started, I suppose I should give you an introduction. Goblin, tell me, do you believe in the supernatural? I do, actually. Well, you're about to come face to face with the unexplainable yourself. You see, gravity falls in some quiet, unassuming backwater town. Much more lurks below its surface. Ford pockets the crumpled journal papers and gestures for you to join him as he walks. You do and follow him through the living room and into the gift shop. I've actually considered making a video about that. Like all the experiences I've had that have made me believe in like the supernatural and paranormal stuff. Because I've got a few stories that actually might make a good video about that. For example, you must have heard Mabel mention the pterodactyl. Most would say none exist in the living world today, but I say not if you know where to look. Ford reaches under the cashier counter and retrieves a packet of vintage-looking gum. Inspecting it for a moment before slipping it in his pocket, he looks around in a thought. Thought I was gonna burp, but I wasn't. Oh, wait. Okay. Hold on to my explanations for the moment. I need to retrieve some more supplies. Ford ushers you out of the gift shop entrance so that you find yourself in the cool outside shack, then shuts the door behind you. Okay, I just got kicked out. Goes in the window. The glass is dirty enough that the sunlight hitting it obscures your vision from the room within. You catch a grey and tan blurry figure that must be Ford at the far wall. You lean in too close, you have to step back before you leave a conspicuous handprint on the window pane. When you look back in, Ford is gone. You turn back around. You're just gonna stand out here until Ford returns. Not too long later, the door opens behind you and Ford joins you outside, looking no different than before. Must have stored whatever supplies he went to retrieve in his coat, but the trench coat falls too natural in his figure for him to be hiding much. Where were we? Ah, yes. Ford pulls a pen and pad of paper from his coat, walking as he writes. Just as you're about to head out, he stops and smacks his hand into his face. Oh shoot, 1 second. Ford hurries back into the house, realizing he forgot one important component to his adventure, a butterfly net. Well, before you get a chance to ask, he strides out ahead of you, obviously in no mind to tell you what it's quite for yet. The pair of you walk past the shack and down a well-worn path into the trees surrounding the house, sunlight peeking between the pines. He double-checks whatever he scribbled onto the paper and tucks it back into one of his coat's seemingly infinite pockets. He stops and turns to face with a definitive nod. My recipe for repellent called for a sprig of lavender, 2 thin slices of ginseng, a drop of bat blood, a chunk of amber, and 3.5 milliliters of ink. He pauses, staring down at the path in thought. Obviously, I already have all those components on hand, all except for one last ingredient, a single mothswing. From Mothman itself. A Mothman! You can't help it, you gasp. Ford glances at you and you think you see a hint of a smile before he turns back to the path and continues along, wind ruffling through his hair. He's impressing us! He's so happy he impressed us. You see, Mothman is the very creature on that page that Waddles seems to fear. Using a piece of itself would ward it away, or at least lead it to believe that Waddles isn't for eating. I would have already completed the repellent years ago if I hadn't managed to collect that wing. Was it too difficult? Oh, I just never got around to it. Besides, Mothman used to come bat at this lamp I had lit out in the backyard. It seemed like such an innocent hobby that I never had the heart to chase it off. But if this brings Mabel and her pig peace of mind, then the time has come to finish this. Sunlight filters through the trees, causing dappled shadows across Ford's coat as he leads in front of you. Break the silence? How do you know so much about this stuff? I study anomalies, anything unusual, strange, and just plain weird. I began my research in this town because it was, and remains, a hotbed of paranormal activity. I made this exact trip years ago, though at the time I had no idea where I was going. It was just dumb luck that I managed to tail Mothman back to its cave from my backyard. Navigating the forest by moonlight is poetic, but not advisable. I made plenty of other discoveries as well, from fairies to gnomes to amalgams of creatures who were never meant to cross to... Ah, wait! Ford reaches into his pocket and pulls out a slightly crumpled pages Mabel had pushed into his hands earlier, speeding them out and shuffling through them. Take a look at these. They're more definitive proof than just my word. You accept the pages from it and find that the scanned pages from some sort of journal, just as you heard Mabel say. Fluid cursive tells of Mothman, beard cubs, scamp fires, and more. Ford gestures to them and explains. I detailed my discoveries in a series of research journals. The remaining pages, at least. I wonder where Stanley was keeping these. You drew these? Were any of these creatures ever dangerous? Must have gotten up to some pretty crazy stuff back then. You drew these? I'm an artist. I would inquire about that shit. Yes, of course. Who else? So realistic. I love your line work. These questions look great. So I must give me. I've seen. I love your line work, because that is the kind of compliment a fucking artist would give. My work now is far better, but I appreciate the comment. Despite his understated words, Ford looks surprisingly pleased. You must have gotten up to some pretty crazy stuff back then. That's one way to put it. It only took 6 years for me to get it in over my head. He takes a silent moment to look away from your gaze, seemingly in bittersweet remembrance. Are creatures ever dangerous? Oh, extremely. Some are worse. Dangerously annoying. Though Ford seems to find his own comment amusing, he doesn't fail to notice your unease. I do have weapons in case things escalate, so there's no need to worry. You brought weapons? Not many. I have a stun gun, my fists, and my sharp wit. What? I feel safer already. You didn't bring your magnet gun? I thought it would be prudent to leave its magnetic fields alone for a while until I have the time to optimize it. You see, I was trying to widen the area of magnetic influence, and it's been a while since I last worked with the gun. I need to refamiliarize myself with its inner workings. My guess is I switched a wrong wire or two and instead narrowed the beam. I'd like to see how it works sometime. Really? You know, if you're interested in devices like that, my old research colleague, Fiddleford, would have more to show you. He's the engineering genius around here. Ask him about the creature. Holy shit, can I go back? I'm just gonna walk in silence. Suddenly, Ford puts an arm out in caution, slowing his pace. You narrowly manage not to collide with him and take a quick glance around to see nothing? Look, there! You see what looks like a bundled up plaid shirt moving along the floor's fur. Moving along the forest floor. Wait, is that a beaver's tail? It looks like a platypus. A platypus. Because it's got a beaver's tail, and platypuses have beaver tails, and it's just a plaid piece of fabric. It's a platypus. What are you doing all the way out here? Don't you mean a platypus? Ford shakes his head with a grin. I meant what I said. It's a platypus. A platypus. Ford moves into a crouch, but stays at a respectable distance, following the small creature. You watch him, and after a moment, mimic his actions. Ford's giving the creature a bright smile, the first of its kind that you've seen since leaving Mabel at the shack. You're a cute one, aren't you? And in one of my favorite patterns, too. Ford motions for you to come forward a little more to the distance he's maintaining. If I were to rate the oddities that live in this forest on a scale of least to most annoying, these little guys would get immunity. They've done nothing wrong, and I appreciate them for it. The two of you watching quiet appreciation, the platypus ambles into the underbush and vanishes from view. What a cute little guy. The two of you continue deeper into the forest. The foliage seems denser now, and you look through the treetops for a glimpse of the sun, which has now dropped low in the sky. It had already been getting late when you left, but you hadn't thought Mothman would be this far out. Almost as though he'd read your mind, Ford answers you. Mothman is rather reclusive, and as such lives deeper within the forest than bolder creatures like the gnomes. Are you alright? Huh? That is, are you tired at all? Should have asked sooner. It's been a long time since I've traveled with anyone new. Stanley tends to speak his mind without my asking. I'm worried about getting stuck out here all night. I know these words like the back of my hand. We'll make it quick. At least I used to. It's been a while. You feel the opposite of reassured. In any case, we still have some time until sunset. Let's wait here in the meantime. Is this what you do for fun? Saving my niece's pet from possible danger? No, not really. I mean, what about the trips like these and your research? They come from a certain thrill, and I do enjoy my research. But one of my most favorite pastimes, Dipper tells me it's actually grown quite popular recently. It's playing Dungeons and Dragons, and more dungeons. Hey, I play Dungeons and Dragons! Also, really quickly, I want to look up how old Ford actually is. Gravity falls. How old is Ford? Wait, how old is Stan? Wait, hold on. Wait. So they're about 57. These guys... I thought they were a little bit older than that. But, I mean, I'm not complaining. These guys are like... Sorry, I was stretching. And I slipped off my chair. I was stretching it up. So these guys are, they're younger than my parents. I thought they would be like the same age or like a little older or something. I believe Dipper's prepared a campaign he thinks will really stump me this time. I'm incredibly excited. Oh, that's so sweet. The moment the sun touches the horizon through the gaps in the treetops, Ford gestures for the two of you to continue. You hadn't noticed, but you'd been resting within a short distance of a small clearing that holds a cylindrical stone marker. The stone marker bears intricate swirls carved into its surface. Ford reaches into his coat and produces the packet of gum from earlier, opening it and dumping the pieces out onto his palm. Gum? Thanks. Not sure why you came all the way out here to unwrap gum at sunset. You accept a stick of gum. Ford puts the remaining gum in his coat breast pocket. He unwraps a now empty gum packet to reveal that it was hiding a small piece of parchment folded up to act as lining. He smooths it out against the stone, holding it under the deep orange-red light of sunset. You step closer to look over Ford's shoulder. The parchment holds a detailed drawing of swirls carved into the stone, documenting every crack in the surface. As you watch, a golden cursive unfolds itself across the page, seemingly fueled by the sunset's warm light. Ford reads the words as they appear. Such a place the Mothman doth rest. But please do not disturb his nest. If kindness be something thou bereft, Ford lifts the parchment a little higher to prevent his shadow from obscuring the rest of the line. Follow thy nature and turn left. I think we turn right. I think so, Goblin. We press onward. Left leads you to a dimly lit cave, which Ford says he remembers well. Except last time he was here, it was pitch black since he arrived in the middle of the night. From its depths, you hear the faint sound of dripping water echoing off the cave's shadow-shrouded walls. You slow your eyes and attempt to adjust the low light. Ford pauses in front of you, reaching into his coat for something. Hold on, I have a flashlight in here somewhere. This cave has never received much natural light, you see, and, He rummages further and you see a couple dice, the pad of paper from Elliot, and a quill. He has some custom pocket work going on there too, and you bet one of his goat's inner pockets has a pen protector in it. Here we are at last. Allow me to... Darn, out of batteries. Wait, I think I have one. Pull out your phone and turn on its flashlight. The light is small, but it does its job. Save our hides there, Goblin. I was about to pull out a matchbox. A matchbook. A matchbook? What? With your light guiding the way, you and Ford move further into the cave, which yawns wide around you. It isn't until a sliver of natural light from the entrance disappears that Ford speaks again. It's been years since I've been here. Decades even. At this point. But I'll always remember the eye bats as one of the first discoveries when I arrived at Gravity Falls. How did you find them in the first place? One got into my house, you see. I was making breakfast one morning and one managed to find my cereal box. When I poured the cereal into the bowl, it came fluttering out, agitated like it belonged there. The nerve! He still sounds so indignant even years later that you laugh. I wanted to contain it in for further study, but unfortunately it managed to get away. As I thought about it afterwards, its pupils had constricted against the light, unfamiliar to the bright light in the kitchen, so either it's nocturnal or it lives in the deepest, darkest cave in Gravity Falls. I found them easily after that. Did you manage to catch one? There's someone here. Sure, someone at my head. Someone at my house. You fucking come to my house. There ain't no one. There ain't no one. Shut up, neighbors, dogs. Oh my God, Chloe. Oh my God, look at that. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, baby. Chloe is just lying on the couch like a little person. She's got her legs and her arms everywhere. Where's the baby? Where's my baby? Oh, it wasn't a person in my street, it was a fucking helicopter. There's a helicopter. It's a very loud helicopter. It's a helipeller. It can go. I put my shit down. I put my shit down. I put my shit down. Accidentally. I managed to catch one. I came running through this cave with a butterfly net and my wits. I bought a working flashlight that time, and they all hid in the dark corners. Once I turned the flashlight off, they flocked to me. I caught 18 of them that day, but it reminded me of the stealth uses of. The rapid sound of clicking claws against stone startles you, and a shiver running up your spine. The dark. You turn off your light. 4 taps your shoulder and gestures for you to keep moving forward. Eventually, the narrow passage widens into the large room. The darkness shrouds the source of the dripping water from view, but as your eyes adjust, you squint to see a strange, winged shadow. A shadow with eyes that glow red in near darkness. Like rubies. Your breath catches in your throat, the realization comes over you. Ford is apparently fairly close to you in the room, but you find when he speaks a few inches from your shoulder, you catch the shadow of his arm swing out in a wide arc, like he's introducing you to, Globin, I'd like for you to meet the Mothman. He whispers, but even in the dark you seem grinning excitedly at you. Ford looks between you and the Mothman, apparently hoping for a dramatic reaction. Your speechlessness seems to satisfy him. That's so sweet! He's showing us his hyperfixation, that's so sweet! My autism man! He's so happy, he's like, look! This my friend! Look, you be friend too! Oh, I love him! Don't worry, it hasn't noticed us yet. Wasn't it just staring at us? Here's the plan. You make contact with Mothman and I pulls out a butterfly net in a large lidded jar. Now where that one came from within its coat of mysteries is lost to you. He's Mary Poppins. We'll capture one of the 100 moths that compromise it. You're hitting with a butterfly net? Isn't this dangerous? Can you do it? I'll take the net. Wait, I get to touch Mothman? The Mothman? Yes, and it turns into 100 black witch moths. It's like experiencing a swarm of locusts. Surprising when you're not expecting it. Remember, even just a light touch is enough. You steel yourself, awaiting Ford's signal. He waves his hand to coax you forward, and then it's up to you to decide how to, well, make contact. What in the Undertale? Approach it with stealth. You tiptoe towards the Mothman, remembering Ford's comment on the dark and trying to channel your inner stealth skills. Of course, that's the moment your phone decides to start blasting Taking Over Midnight by Anne Sandra. You're confused before remembering that Mabel added her number to your contacts and must have made that her custom ringtone. Mothman turns at the noise and screeches, but before you can barrel into it, the creature explodes into 100 moths, fluttering around you, getting stuck in your shirt and skittering around your face, surrounding you in mothy hell. Your task is accomplished. Ford rushes into the large swarm of moths, waving the butterfly net with a few unsuccessful swipes. He tries swatting the more aggressive ones away, but there are too many. Use my phone flashlight. You grab your phone and quickly switch the light on, running to Ford's side and holding it up high. You even attempt to call them over despite knowing they don't respond to sound. Falling, they all crowd around your phone. The sight of light flickering and reflecting off so many small wings would be somewhat captivating if you hadn't just been in the midst of them. Ford puts the butterfly net away and jar in hand carefully scoops one of the moths up. Well, that could have gone better, but we've succeeded nonetheless. As Ford pockets the jar, you turn off the light. With no light and no threat to focus on, the cloud disperses. That was amazing! Ford laughs, brushing dust and dirt off his trench coat. You could say that. A completed repellent is within sight. Let's head back. Pew pew! Ford turns to leave the cave and looks calm and content. You, on the other hand, are buzzing with energy under an adrenaline rush. Should you go for a high five? Hell yeah! Fuck yeah! That was a very dramatic style change. Oh, well, it is kind of cute though. You raise your hand in the universally understood offer of a high five. Ford pauses, then grins, high-fiving you. Or rather, 6. We're not going to ask him about that. When you Ford finally reach the cave entrance, you find the forest that you'd left, and the dying light is now awash with silvery glow. The gap between the leaves overhead provides a view of the night sky, along with long strings of stars. A few more steps and the Milky Way comes into view, looking as if a tear across the fabric of the sky. Ford notices you looking. See something? The pterodactyl doesn't usually come out this late, but being a prehistoric creature, its behavior is rather unpredictable. I've never seen the Milky Way in person before. It looks amazing, isn't it? It's remarkable that you can see without light pollution from the city. Here on the outskirts of town, you see a good portion of the Milky Way every night. He gazes up into the night sky. A whole year has passed, yet it feels strange to see a sky I recognized. Huh? Oh, traveling, I was in a different part of the world. You both stare up at the sky in comfortable silence for a few more moments. The quiet of the forest settles in, along with the distant sound of flowing water, and you find yourself surprisingly glad that Ford has accidentally pulled you here, if this is one of the moments you get to experience. Out of the corner of your eye, you swear you see Ford looking at you instead of up, but when you tilt your head back down in his direction, it is elsewhere. Eventually, the two of you come to a wordless mutual agreement to continue on, and you're walking again. You have to show me the other creatures that live here sometimes. You're glad you said so when you look over and find out that Ford looks pleasantly surprised to hear it. His chest puffs out with pride. Oh, little boy, he's your baby boy, I love him. Of course, maybe we'll even get to spot the hype behind or tag along with Dipper when he next visits the multi-bear. The what? Ford taps his temple, grinning. You'll have to wait until I show you to find out. I love him so much! I'm holding you to that. We find some time left before we get back, if you're up for another walk. You must make a face because Ford looks back at you and laughs. Not far, I promise. Just thought I might answer a few of your questions, if you have any. No other questions, let's head back. Everyone needs to repel an ASAP, right? Indeed, perhaps it'd be better to head back now after all. Ford gradually adjusts his pace to yours, walking side by side with you in companionable silence all the way back to the shack. Almost there. You recognize from the incredibly flashy signs what the fuck is that? Phrases like mystery shack this way and Sasquatch to your left. Sasquatch? I don't want to know. That you're extremely close to arriving back to the shack. As you and Ford leave the tree line, you see the bright lights shining on the porch. You make out the faint outline of the kids' shadows as they run through the house and emerge in the attic window. Emil pushes it open, leaning out. Uncle Ford, finally! You guys took so long, I had time to recover waddles and macaroni. Oh my god. Why would you do that? I have my reasons. Did you get the thing? Yes, I'm coming inside so we can stop shouting. Goblin, come along. We have a pig save. Pew pew! Ford strides into the shack, I'm in on a mission. You grin and follow, but not before taking one last look at the night sky. Yeah, maybe your stay won't be so bad after all. Back inside the shack, the grand conclusion to your expedition to the Mothman's cave is spritzing Mabel's pig with newly finished deterrent until the puppy reeks of lavender. You see Mabel and Dipper head up to the bed, looking sleepier than usual as a result. Something about lavender is so soothing to the senses that you crash out fairly soon afterwards, face first in your makeshift bed. Aw. Can you give me dating tips? You're good at this. Aww. You wake up to a loud crash downstairs. Not entirely uncommon in this house, you're quickly finding out, but still disconcerting. Bull clatters and thumps lead you to the kitchen, where Maple teeters on a short step ladder in front of the pantry. Standing on her tiptoes, she reaches as high as she can for a small yellow box on the top shelf. Pancake mix. Without a word, you go to her side and pluck the box from the shelf for her, placing it into her outstretched hand. Oh, Goblin, thank you! Uncle Stan put it on the top shelf for some reason, need some Mabel cakes. It's a breakfast emergency. She whittles her 3 fingers in your face and you can't help but laugh. You can tell the house becomes more alive with the kids around. Wanna help me make them? We only need chocolate milk, coffee, pink food coloring, and a pot of Goldos to make this breakfast dream a breakfast reality. As delicious as that sounds, you're inclined to ask where the coffee comes into the mix when you realize the house is suspiciously quiet. Mabel, where is everybody? Oh, Uncle Stan needed stuff for your car, so he went to go get Mecky stuff for that. I think Uncle Ford's somewhere. We had the abominable bro man was trying to steal soda from campus, so we went to help them out. Yep, that's where he went. Totally knew that. So they left you guys to make breakfast on your own? You don't know the family well enough yet to know if this is commonplace, so the idea of leaving 2 teenagers alone to fend for themselves seems fine. If one of the teenagers wasn't Mabel anyway. You still don't know how coffee fits into a Mabel cakes, but now you don't really want to know. Dipper attempts to hide the pancake mix from Mabel while she's grabbing the chocolate milk from the fridge, and apparently he doesn't want to find out either. Not gonna lie, coffee pancakes sounds like they would fucking hit. Mabel, while your Mabel cake sounds absolutely divine, why don't we... Quick, think of something so you don't have to hurt her feelings. Go out for breakfast. Is there somewhere we can go out for breakfast? We really should save the Mabel cakes so your great uncles are back. No, they wouldn't want to miss them. But I want to perfect my recipe. I have to get better at cooking and baking and stuff so I can survive out there in the world. What if in high school I have to base stuff and people are better than me? Oh, Mabel. Mabel looks very agitated, tugging at her hair with both hands. If I can't make the perfect Mabel cakes, I can never be on Bad Dreams Dining. I gotta impress Gerald Rambone Goblin. It's my destiny. Dipper, can you cook? Maybe Dipper can help you make something different? We should save the Mabel cakes for another day, a more special day. But Goblin! Mabel, still standing on the stepladder, reaches up and squishes your cheeks together, her wide eyes staring into your soul. Every day is special with Mabel cakes. You glance at Dipper, making a please help me and I'll buy you breakfast face. You hope he understands. Yeah, Mabel, I know you want to cook more since you're becoming an adult. Sure, but don't think Uncle Stan and Grand Uncle Ford should be here for you to try them too? And not just me. Again, Mabel hops off the stepladder and ponders her brother's question, lips pursed. Eventually she nods, beaming at you both. You're right, Dipper. I can't deny them that experience. You give Dipper a thankful smile over Mabel's head as she puts the ingredients back on the refrigerator. He grins back at you, rubbing the back of his neck. You wonder if he got that from one of his grunkles. My neck is itchy. That's clever now that you think about it. Great plus uncle to make grunkle. Saves time on syllables. We should go to Greasy's. They have some of the best pancakes there. With like 3 different kinds of syrup you could ask Lazy Susan nicely. Yeah, it's not super far. Let's go. The kids are about to head out of the kitchen when you realize something. Wait, aren't you gonna leave a note for your grunkles about where you're going? Oh, right, good call. Dipper scribbles out a note for Stan and Ford and sticks it on the front door of the shack with one of Mabel's stickers. The kids lead the way towards the town, explaining various landmarks and the wild and wonderful stories attached to them along the way. And this is where we saw those 2 ghostly old people. In a convenience store? Strange, but you nod regardless. Maybe she just meant they were so old they look like ghosts. Though after what you've heard about Gravity Falls already, you should believe they were real ghosts. Dipper points at the diner in the distance, a log-shaped building atop a train cart, and the 3 of you head inside. You soon realize that the kids know just about everyone in this town. Several people, young and old, wave at them as the 3 of you find a table, and you get the feeling that they're almost famous in Gravity Falls, though you're not entirely sure why. They're pretty cute, though. Mabel blows the paper wrapper over a straw at Dipper's face, and he would tell you it's by swirling at her the laminated menu. An elderly woman in pastel pink waitress dress comes up to the table, and you catch the name in her tag. Susan. Hiya, kids! And stranger, what can I forgot what Lazy Susan's voice is. I think she had an accent. What can I get for you? Pancakes with all 3 syrups for me, please, Lazy Susan. Same for me, actually. Lazy Susan turns to you, notepad in hand. What will you get? Bacon and eggs! Coming right up, sweetie. Lazy Susan winks with her good eye, of course, and heads to the back of the diner. I love bacon and eggs! The wait for your food to arrive feels longer here than most, mainly due to Mabel and Dipper using the time to interrogate you. First with someone intimidating, you literally crashed into their house and started hanging out with their great uncles, so they have lots of questions. Once the irrational fear of 2 13-year-olds fades out, you recognize their interview for what it really is. They care about their uncles. If you start hanging out with them more, they want to know as much about you as possible. Mabel's questions are somewhat nonsensical. So if you're stranded on a desert island with no boat, no cheating, what would you take with you? No boat, no cheating, what would you take with you? What would I? Food, probably. While Dip is more careful and calculated. What were you doing before you came here? School, work, both, neither? Did you know about gravity falls before you crossed into the shack? You immediately know which grunkle each twin takes after. Stan and Mabel, goofy partners in crime, versus the quiet brainiacs Ford and Dipper. It's an intriguing contrast, especially now that you've thrown into the middle of the bunch. But that's the twins' race to see which syrup bottle drips into their mouths. The fastest, Dipper's blueberry syrup, beats Mabel's classic maple syrup by a millisecond. You swear on it. You know that these kids do a lot more for their great uncles than just being cute counterparts. And here we go. Enjoy, kiddos. Let me know if you need anything else. Lazy Susan gives out the respective plates, and the kids go quiet, shoveling down their food like they've never been fed before. Between mouthfuls, you get a few more questions about yourself and your theories on aliens versus which member of M Synchronized was your favorite. But the table is near silent as the 3 of you eat. That is until Mabel speaks up through a mouthful of pancakes. Show Goblin! If a totally made up and not real situation, you had to pick who your favorite was, who'd you pick? Grunkle Stan or Grunkle Ford? This seems too plain compared to other cutesy questions. Dipper elbows his sister not so subtly as she elbows him right back, wide-eyed staring at him in a sibling look you can't decipher. Like, say you're in a movie, like one of those weird movies. Grunkle Stan watches on TV with the ladies in poofy dresses riding horses. Awfully specific, but you let it continue taking another bite of your food. You're the main character of this movie, and you got 2 guys who are both madly in love with you. This one doesn't mess around with getting right to the point, huh? But you could only marry one of them, so you'd be the next in line for the throne. What would you do if Grunkle Stan and Grunkle Ford were your choices? Who would you go with? Man, well, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, really weird and kind of gross. Come on, Dipper, this is important information that's vital to my research. What research? None of your business. Gotta still gathering other research. Mabel leans toward Dipper's ear to whisper, waggling her eyebrows at you before she replies, in not a whisper, but quite the opposite. Research into how you're a huge nerd! Ha! Funny, ha! With that, Mabel catapults a spoonful of melted butter from atop her pancakes onto Dipper's cheek with a very satisfying splat. Dipper jerks in disgust, but retaliates by stirring strawberry syrup onto Mabel's nose, a drop of stickiness plopping onto her sweater. Ew, gross! You're gross! There's no vitriol between the twins, but lots of giggles and a few more various food missiles. Eventually, syrup streaks down Mabel's cheekbones and some of her hair, and Dipper has a small piece of pancake stuck to his face. You guys are dorks. Aw, maybe you're right, but we're twins, so it's adorable. If you say so, Mabel. Wait, quick, Goblin, take a picture of us while Dipper's got pancake on his face. I have what? He swipes at his face, but after several passes, he gets it off. Oh, I was trying to get more candid pictures of us. Mabel, you have syrup everywhere. Really? Ugh, that would have been the perfect photo. Here, let me get it. Your hands are sticky enough. You get back up with a napkin in hand and try to wipe some of the syrup off Mabel's cheeks. I'm dyslexic. The excess syrup swipes off easily, but a good portion doesn't budge. I mean, maybe syrup as makeup is the next new look. That's one word for it, kid. Stan! And Ford, my husband! We wondered where you went once we came back to a suspiciously quiet house. If it weren't for Dipper's note, we would have been worried. Sixer would have been worried. I tried to tell him you kids pull this kind of stuff all the time. Heading out unannounced, putting stress on your poor grunkle's heart. He puts a hand over his heart dramatically. All those missing hours of unpaid child labor. Actually, the note wasn't me. Well, I wrote it, but Goblin's the one who said we should do that, so you know where we went. Both Ford and Stan tend to look at you, surprised. Really? I figure these two knuckleheads... I'm fucking dyslexic! Really figure these two knuckleheads dragged you here. Why don't make breakfast at home? The place is at least 15 minutes walk from the shack. Well... You glance at Dipper swiping his finger across Mabel's cheek and licking the blueberry syrup off. Mabel has a pancake in her mouth, chewing on it like a grazing sheep. I wanted to treat them to something, I guess. It's the least I can do. You're letting me stay here with you and fixing my car. I thought since you were gone, I'd take these two out for a change. Also, Mabel was gonna make Mabel cakes again. You're just mad you can't even make toast right. Well, yes, I can. I burned it one time. One time! Dipper holds a syrup-tipped finger in the air, indignant. Well, Mabel wanted you guys to enjoy her Mabel cakes too. And since there wasn't much food, I figured I'd take them out. Stan snatches the pancake from Mabel's mouth and takes a bite out of it, cackling when she stands off the seat to try and grab it back, climbing over Dipper to reach. Climbing over the Dipper to reach. Aside from the kerfuffle, you catch Ford's eye. Is he staring at you? As soon as you realize this, he quickly sets his gaze elsewhere, looking over your head and at the window. You'd say that he probably just shifted his attention, but his finger hooks under the high neck of his sweater and tugs at it. Well, Goblin, I really appreciate you looking after Mabel for us. It was kind of hard. We're... It was very kind of you to bring them here. I love him so much. I love him so much. I love him so much. That wasn't a big deal, really. I'm happy to help. You smile at him, pretending you don't know how warm your face is. Maybe it's just hot greasies. Ford looks like close to the shade of a sweater. Dipper Mabel's an ow, and you catch Mabel elbowing his side, wagging her eyebrows at him. You're not sure why. Well, kid, if you're paying, scoot over, Dipper. I want breakfast too. Stanley, it's at least 12:30 now. Grunkle 4, that means it's time for brunch, duh. At 12:30? 12:30 is brunch? What the fuck? See, the kids get me. They let me in so I can get some grub. Dipper moves to your side of the booth and sits next to Mabel, and Ford sits at Dipper's side. Lazy Susan comes back and takes orders for another round of food and drinks for everyone, including Mabel, who decides she wants more pancakes. They're starting to regret offer to pay, but as Stan and Mabel try that hand at at the syrup drip race with Dipper chewing them on, Ford watching with a wide grin on his face. You know you didn't really mind that much. After the expedition to find Mothman, you accompanied Ford on a few other missions, so to speak, examining various birds of the forest, including the questionable stomach-faced duck. He snatched a sandwich and quickly ran off, Ford in hot pursuit. While he didn't find what evidence he needed, something to do with their digestive systems, you both decided that the stomach-faced duck flock were questionable. Not as questionable as the question quail, which he shows you from a scanning journal page, but still questionable. You asked why he decided the hawktopus was too stupid to study, but received a loud groan, and too sticky as an answer. Valid point. Hawktopus? Ah, I see. All in all, your adventures with Ford have been more enjoyable than you'd expected, and you can't help but hope that you'll get to experience another one with him soon. You walk through the living room, lost in thought about question quails on Ford's journal pages, and narrowly avoid stepping on a sheet of graph paper. Ah, don't look! Oh, it's you. Dipper peers over the book and proclaims, D, D, and more D, officially licensed campaign journal. He's sitting on the yellow armchair with crisscrossed legs, barricaded with books and papers. He's got a lap of multicolored dice and half-dozen chewed pencils strewn across the floor, and one in his mouth. Look down and notice the floor is almost entirely covered in graph paper. Hi? Did you need something? I know it's kinda messy. I should probably clean that up. Dipper looks reluctant to extract himself from his self-constructed fantasy law prison. Same, honestly. Here, I can do it. You look busy. You're about halfway through cleaning the floor before you actually start looking at what's on the various sheets you're holding. Fantasy maps, some floor plans, and countless scribbled notes and calculations in the margins. What are these for? Planning something? Dipper's re-immersed in his planning. He startles a little when you ask. Oh, right. No big deal. It's just for this great pen and paper role-playing game called Dungeons, Dragons, and More Dragons. D, and MD, for short. It's just about fantasy worlds and statistics and swords and Well, it's kind of difficult to explain, but it's super fun. I'm playing it with Grunkle Ford today, so I'm just putting down the final touches on my dungeon. He's gonna be so stumped. Stumped, you say? Ford comes into the room at that precise moment, drying his hands on his trench coat. Perfect timing, Dipper. I just managed to get the paint off my hands. Paint from what? Oh, one of the gnomes came by and decided he'd graffiti the side of the house. Something about his rapper persona. Yeesh. Yes, I don't think ZzimzZ is going anywhere in the music business. In any event, I see you've been hard at work. You ready for our game? Yes, and Goblin, I can take these now. Thanks for the help. Ford looks like he just noticed you standing there for the first time since he entered the room. Goblin, glad to see you weren't too shaken up by your adventure yesterday. You grin and hand Dipper the tall stack of papers, catching a glimpse of the stats for a knock-knock skull. Well, I made it back on one piece, right? That's the spirit, though 90% of a piece would have been good too. You know, you never realize how little difference 10% makes until you lose it. So how's the Mothman? Shaken up. And all in the good name of research, though. I've seen it lose a few moths and come back the next week, good as new, as process akin to cycling at dead cells. I would say we just expedited that process. No moral issues there. Well, Goblin, the game calls and I must answer. Stanley's about if you're looking for him, though. If you wanted to join our game, I certainly wouldn't object. I can promise a fun afternoon. The other player, yeah, totally. I can give you a pre-made character sheet to start and dice. Shoot, where'd I put my other set? Don't worry, I've got an extra set. Me? I don't even know how to play. Oh man, there are so many rules. Where to start? It's really easy to pick up. It's even, kind of popular now. Not sure about committing to the whole afternoon to this game with Ford, though Dipper seems pretty excited about it. But Stan's around too and you wanted to go check on your car. No, the fuck I don't! Well, think about it, Goblin. Dipper, my boy, why don't you and I get some things set up in the meantime? Ford and Dipper launch into Fantasy Lore Talk. They prop up a cork board against the yellow armchair, pin up various maps on the floor plans with important landmarks, and upend their pouches of dice onto the carpet. Join the game! Great! Oh shoot, did you look at the paper plans earlier? Those are for Dungeon Master's eyes only. I'd known you were gonna join us. Yeah, I did. I know all your plans. All of them. Very funny. Or do you? Grunkle Ford, do you think they... What? Sorry, I was reading this passage on Dwarven architecture. They've really improved the illustrations, though I can't say the same for this prose. Dipper and Ford put the final pieces in their place. The floor is encircled in a mix of propped-up corkboards, books, maps, notes, and loose-leaf paper. Ford unfolds a Game Boy in the center of the madness. Brilliant, we're all ready. Don't look so nervous, Goblin. You have me here to walk you through it. Ford sits down next to the game board. He passes the piece of carpet next to him, inviting you to sit, and you do. Dipper sits across from you, and on the other side of the game board, he unfolds an illustrated piece of cardboard, propping it up in front of him. He notices your questioning gaze on it and looks back to you. Oh yeah, this is the Dungeon Master's screen. It's just there to protect my secrets. It hides essential die rolls and plot points from prying player eyes. Grunkle Ford tries to look ahead once or twice and spoiled a narrative twist, and you are the only player. I'm just making sure my dungeon mastering apprentice stays on his toes. You can never be too vigilant. Dipper gathers up his dice in a pile next to the DM screen, ready to roll when needed. Now, I mentioned an extra dice set, didn't I? Dice are important, though by no means essential component to gameplay. No adventurer should leave the house without a set. I keep mine in the souvenir velvet dice bag from a local game store. Yes. Ford retrieves a dark drawstring bag from his coat and empties it onto the floor, where dice of all different shapes and sizes come tumbling out. And now for yours. Ford pulls another matching drawstring bag from the depths of his coat. They were having a buy one get one discount. Go ahead, take a look. Get yours for the session. Wait, you'll be yours for this after. You pour these dice into the carpet as well, metallic gold with the numbers embossed in black. Fancy. Well, I didn't have enough left to make them from solid gold. I was able to electroplate a set for fun. Great Uncle Ford, you electroplated those dice? They're so nice. That didn't mean to rhyme. Maybe you should be the one with a rapping career, not ZzimzZ. Ford and Dipper laugh. Maybe not, but anyway, let me reintroduce our characters. Dipper clears his throat, settling into Dungeon Master persona. When we last left our heroes, Miv the Meddling trapped the great elven wizard Viren and the halfling fighter Tyros in a dungeon, filled to the brim with puzzles, riddles, and brain teasers. To reach Miv and end this journey once and for all, they'll have to brave the dungeon's mysteries and escape with their lives intact. Dipper sets two figurines side by side on the game board. One is an imposing figure in flowing robes, and the other is much shorter in comparison, but posed with a will to prove himself. I suppose the former is Viren and the latter is Tyros. But what would our heroes do? But what would our two heroes find in the first room of the dungeons but a potential ally? Just as trapped as they were, we will join them in their quest for freedom. Dipper places three figurines on the carpet just off to the side of the game board. You get to choose your character now, Goblin. They're starters with pre-made templates, so they're good for short notice editions like this. Choose your character. What's the song again? Choose your character. I want to be a human bard. Bards use an invigorating song to encourage their allies, or the blow of their insults to damage their enemies. You shot! You shot! I've kind of reevaluated my stance on boards lately. You'll come in handy if we encounter any undead. Will we? Maybe. Hey, stop trying to play ahead. Be a human bard? Yes! Dipper moves your figurine onto the board, beside Viren and Tyros. Alright, what's their name gonna be? Alex. For short, Alexandrios. Here forward, trying Alexandrios out under his breath a few times. I'll just call him Alex. Here's your character sheet. It's got all the info in it. Ahem. Our heroes encounter Alexandrios. Alex for short, in the first room of the dungeon. Alex, what's your deal with our main villain, Miv the Meddling? Miv murdered my family and now I seek revenge. Miv promised my eternal glory but left a dagger in my back instead. I just woke up with a headache. Forward, help me! Forward, help me! D&D and Mendy is most entirely imagination and creativity. Go ahead, just make something up. It's half the fun. Forward, help me! Miv promised me eternal glory but left a dagger in my back instead. Alex explains how they struck Miv's ire, and in turn, Tyros shares that Miv once bested him in a duel, an embarrassment because Miv is a sorcerer, and sorcerers aren't known for their physical combat skills. In Tyros' defense, he was still young at the time. Stretch. But none of this matters, because to finally face down Miv, they must escape. Whoa! Proceed with caution, homies. Behind you is a plain door. On the far wall of the room is a set of red doors. And to the left and right are old stained glass windows with weirdly familiar motifs on them. Just gonna quickly save. Save. Return. Having woken up here with no recollection of getting here at all, you have no way of knowing which door you came in, should go out of, or even what direction you should head in at all. You know. And now you guys decide what you want to do, you might want to look around first. And by that, of course, we mean rolling a die to see if we can notice anything. The outcome is nearly every substantial choice we make is tied to a roll of the dice. I'll let you choose what we do here, Golan. Then I'll smash a window. I want to smash a window. I'll probably take a look around. Wait, nice. I like Mabel's glass. Oh, I like Dipper's glass window has Mabel's star on it. Oh, and Mabel's has the pie. Oh, that's so sweet. Ford shows you what to roll for the investigation check, and Dipper flips through his notebook, ready to tell you what you see. Ha, nice roll. Tacked to one of the walls of this room is a note that reads, "Proceed with caution, homies." Tyros pockets the note, and in the distance you hear the faint sound of rushing water. What do you do next? What's the state of the door behind us? See for yourself. I'm still a DM. I can't respond unless you check the door. Folk casts detect magic, and after confirming with Dipper that there is no magic behind the door, pushes it open. The three of you leave through the door. Nice. As the last of you step through the doorway, it melts, seeping into the wall as if it were never there. Guess we're not going back that way. The chandelier overhead ignites, casting a room in a warm orange glow and revealing an impressive door in the far wall. In front of it is a large cloth-covered lump. Take a look around. Roll for investigation, just like earlier. Approach it to inspect. As your footsteps grow nearer, the lump shifts, rising to reveal that is in fact a goblin. Hey, it's me! The goblin stands to attention and tries to pretend it was never asleep. Travelers, I notice thee and demand you answer these riddles 3. Insult. I'll let you do that, but if you actually say what insult you're gonna use. I would, but it's not kid friendly. Dipper makes a half horrified face, but forward laugh. Dipper, how about Goblin tells me and I be the judge? I'll be completely impartial. Dipper seems like he's trying to think up a non-kid friendly insult himself when he gives Forward the go-ahead. And you're right, you've finally crafted an insult on paper and handed it to Forward. He raises a brow. Not bad, half damage with a chance to score a critical hit. Take the D38 and D10. And you rolled. That's a definitive set. The goblin breaks down and takes advantage. I'm gonna implement that in my D&D campaign. If you just insult a character so good, they're just gonna break down and run away. Martini! Martini! My boy! Oh. The goblin gone, all that remains is the door. I cast Detect Magic the door. The door is steeped in magical energy, and you suspect it's what's keeping the door closed. You follow the energy back to its source, a brass knocker in the shape of a lion's head, which begins speaking. To unlock what lies beyond, tell me, what is it you desire? Which one of us is it talking to? Lion's head looks past Vera and tires towards Alex, glowing eyes, its eyes glowing ruby red. What is it you desire? Power, friendship, wisdom, or nothing? Ford. I desire friendship! As the lion head disappears, you feel like you've gained a greater understanding of your party members and party dynamics. Tyrus and Viren feel a tiny bit more inclined to trust you too. The door swings open and Viren, Tyrus, and Alex step forward into the next room. As soon as you enter the next room, the walls meld over the doorway, sealing you in. Glancing around, the far wall of the room seems to be a different material and color than the next. Though it could just be the lighting. To the left, you see rows of lights affixed to the wall. Inspect the wall. You look at it and confirm that it's a different color than the rest. Can I knock on it? You see Dipper give you a small smile, knowing what you're looking for. You knock along the wall and find that one section sounds hollow. As soon as you realize that, the next knock opens up a gap in the wall, revealing itself to be a door. Stay where you are. As soon as you went... Oh, whoops. After inspecting and interacting with the lights for a few minutes, you're going to realize a few things. There are 26 lights. You can touch them to make them glow. You can only touch 6 of the lights at a time, and notice 7 are untouched. All lights fade to their original color. Each light is labeled with integers that run consecutively from 1 to 26, starting from the leftmost light. Looks like we need a password for this one, Golem. If the puzzle is fair, it must be a word we've already been introduced to. One that stands out. You think. And think back to that first room where Tyrus pocketed the note from the first room of the dungeon. What was that word again? Proceed with caution, homies. Homies? That wasn't a word on the note. Proceed with caution. Oh my god, I have inventory! Oh my god! That's so cool! That one? Yeah, that's the code I'm using here. Starts with the word. I believe it was homies. Good. Now connect those two together. Which lights do you touch? The 8th one. Then the 15th one, then the 13th, followed by the 9th, 5th, and 19th. The room rumbles and you turn around to find a green glass door. Walking up to get a closer look, you see that engraved on the door is a riddle. The door reads, if you go into the green glass door, you can bring a ball, but not a bat. If you can bring a book, but you can't bring a novel. You can bring coffee, but not tea. You can bring letters, but you can't bring numbers. If you wish to pass, you must present an acceptable offering. Interesting one, Dipper. Let's think. A ball, but not a bat. I think I understand, Goblin. What could you bring to the door? Go into the green glass door, you can bring a ball, but not a bat. You can bring a book, but you can't bring a novel. You can bring coffee, but not tea. Bring letters, but you can't bring numbers. The fuck does that mean? Bring a ball, but not a bat. You can bring a book, but you can't bring a novel. You can bring coffee, but not tea. You can bring letters, but you can't bring numbers. Mystic amulet. Alex offers the item to the door. Nothing happens. Avagos. I offer my Baron's book of spells. Taris offers his cutlass. The door dissolves, letting the party pass through. Oh, Leon is so cute. You glance at Ford to notice that he was watching you figure out the puzzle the entire time, even if you weren't too good at it. Before you make eye contact with him, he turns his head, facing back to the game board on the floor, and... Great Uncle Ford, are you okay? Oh, yes, Dipper, I'm fine. Why is your face so red? You took a second to look and find that Ford... Shut up, Dee! You take a second to look, then find out the Ford. The data looks so red. Ford stammers his way through. It's a little warm in here. He looks if he's alright. You guess wearing a turtleneck and summer will do that to a guy. But Dipper raises his brows at you both, surprised. She writes something down in the margin of his notebook before clearing his throat to continue the campaign. The green door swings open. You go through. To freedom. And there it is, the end of the dungeon. Cut it down a bit on the fly, but I didn't want to make it too long. I would have run a murder mystery I've had planned for ages, but my test runs have never gone very well with my focus group. So, what do you think? So what happens next? There's actually a transition into the next super plot-centric campaign about infiltrating the Sorcerer's Tower Castle. Dipper shows you a complete page of his campaign book, which looks to be filled with various dungeon sketches with realistic physics calculations crowded into every spare space. Well, Dipper, I think you did well. It's not easy adding in an extra player on short notice like that. I always write that in just in case. Not completely, but just a few notes. Ford and Dipper launch into a conversation about dungeons mastering, and they can clean up the DD-AMD setup. Returning the game components to their original glossy fantasy box. They're too fast and practice for you to figure out how to help, so you just pick up the dice Ford lent you and return them to their original velvet bag. Dipper leaves and to put the DD-AMD box back upstairs, and that's just you and Ford. Goblin, you did well for a first timer. I'd take you into a dungeon with me. I mean, Ford gives you an embarrassed smile, but you're already smiling at him yourself. I know what you meant. Thanks, Ford. A call comes from the kitchen. Sounds like Stan. Haha, well, I'd talk more, but I'd better see what he needs. Ford moves past you, heading toward... Oh, I thought that was Stan. Haha, I'd talk more, but I better see what he needs. Okay, there you go. Ford moves past you, heading towards the kitchen. You suddenly feel the need to hold on to this moment, like you need to say something. Ford? Yes? He's looking at you again. You don't remember what you were going to say. All you say is, here's your set of dice back. Thanks for letting me use it. Ford chuckles, shaking his head. No, you keep it, in case you decide to join us again next time. See you at dinner, Goblin. Oh no! It's like, I love him. I love him. Look at him. He's so silly. I love him. I would love to continue, but I'm going to save here. And I'm going to end the stream. I know it's not too long of a stream, but we did do the Ori and the Blind Forest stream earlier. Oh, there we go. Okay. We did do the Ori and the Blind Forest stream earlier, so I'm going to leave it. Yeah, I have some stuff to do before my parents get home. Well, thank you to anyone who stopped by. Thank you. I'll see you guys next stream. Bye. Have fun. Enjoy your days.